Hello and welcome to day 9 of the morning after the Euros. Group A is done and dusted. Italy are on a 30 match winning streak, but you still seem
Unbeaten streak. Unbeaten streak.
unbeaten, unbeaten streak.
Yeah.
If you go to see, there were just two good teams that they played. That's Portugal and the Netherlands, and that was
Yeah.
Ronald Koeman's Netherlands, which they even I think drew. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
and Wales have huffed and puffed their way into the knockout stages, and Switzerland's
Hmm.
fate lies now in the hands of other teams. Jaran Shaqiri finally turned up. That right-footed curler was an exact mirror image of how he would curl it with the left-footed, and it just seems so pleasing.
Hmm.
Becomes the first Swiss to score in 4 World Championships finals.
Yeah.
So
International competition, I guess
international
you can.
competitions, yeah, which
Yeah.
count, not friendly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and Turkey, the the less said, the better. But go for it.
Oof.
Let's
Well, I
go
guess
break down team by team. Let's go for Italy first. Your thoughts?
they were okay, but I think the red card ruined the game for me. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
Wales had a strategy, and I think what the way they had approached it was that we'll be defensive. We'll try and keep ourselves in the game till around the 50th, 60th, 70th minute, which a lot of teams on the low block try and do. Like
Mm-hmm.
just not be, because they have the talent and the attack to actually cause problems for this Italy team, and the red card completely denied them the opportunity to do that. So I was hoping that Italy's backline gets tested so that we can actually see how good or bad it is. But
Yeah,
that red card took away that opportunity from my perspective to actually see how well this backline copes against a good attack. And
I thought Empan Empudas. How do you say his name?
Ampadu, Ethan
Ampadu's red.
Ampadu, yeah.
Yeah, Ethan Ampadu's red card. Yeah, it's one of those that I think 8 out of 10 times is not given, even though it is
Yeah, yeah,
supposed to.
yeah, yeah,
Even though it is supposed to be given 8 out of 10 times. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, considering the recent history about referees not giving it, he kind of got unlucky. That's why he just seemed so shocked when it was given. But yeah,
It's a bit unlucky in my opinion, actually. Yeah, like it's the kind of tackle that's easy to mistime. Like it's not that he went in sliding in or something like that. It
no.
just, yeah, you just catch the opponent sometimes. It happens, and uh, I mean, it was a bit like, yeah, he timed it quite poorly, to be honest. Like it was a definite yellow card. There's no denying that, but
Yeah.
a red card felt a bit too harsh for me, especially
Hmm.
with the way the game was balanced. Like I didn't. It
No.
completely stole the and a good opportunity for Wales. I felt they qualified, they got what they
Yeah, they
wanted,
did.
but
Yeah.
I still think that yeah, I didn't enjoy that red card. Like didn't feel like it was warranted. Yeah.
Okay. Uh-huh. And what do you think about Switzerland's chances? Of course, we cannot predict that right now, but the game that they made of it,
Yeah, well,
really
the
good
goal
goals,
difference is
but
-1, right? Like
yeah, even after scoring.
-1. I'm not
Mhm.
sure how this will go down. Like it's hard to be sure of the goal differences. You have to check the tables. There's a bit of research required in this, right? Like actual,
Mhm.
you'll have to check the tables and see what kind of permutations come out. And it's going to be done in 3 days. We may as well, because we're covering it every day, we may as well,
Yeah.
like, as and when the games actually happen, we'll get the information quite quickly. We can do it do it side by side rather than putting in a, an hour or two.
Trying to do
I
the
think
permutation
I
and the
think
combination.
yeah, I don't think it's I think it's right in the middle. Like -1 is actually a reasonable goal difference to have with 4 points.
Hmm.
So you can't really say which side of the coin they'll fall. Or if their goal difference was like Wales, like if it was 1, then I would have said, yeah, they're most likely going through. But with
Yeah.
-1, it's right in the sweet spot in terms
Yeah.
of hard to predict.
Right. And then finally, Turkey. I mean,
God.
so much made of them and then hardly done anything in the tournament. They finally got 1 goal. They've conceded 8. They need to go back to the drawing board and hopefully they'll be better next year for the World Cup. But yeah, there was so much hype around this team, and I was also seeing like people predicting them to like go to the quarterfinals,
They were
and that's a
dark
slap.
horses, like,
Yeah,
weren't they?
slap
They
on
just
everyone's
were,
face.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is the first group, Group A, done and dusted. Wales and Switzerland, sorry, Wales and Italy have qualified. Switzerland might
Yeah,
still qualify. But let's talk about Group B, the team that I think all the neutrals that were rooting for have a chance, have an opportunity to still get it, still make it through the next round, in spite of
yeah,
having 0 points. And I'm saying that game is Russia versus Denmark, and
yeah. Here,
Denmark
goal
just
difference should help, right? Like,
no,
Denmark's goal difference is -1, right? So,
yeah, yeah, and Russia is 0. So Denmark just need to win. The scoreline
yeah,
doesn't matter. Scoreline
yeah, and
doesn't matter.
they'll be in great position to qualify because they'll be better than Switzerland at least as a third place team. And
I mean, Russia is
well, I
anyways
think
-2. Denmark is also -2, but whoever wins is then a virtual knockout.
Denmark is -2.
Yes,
They lost. They
two,
lost 1-0 to Finland, and
what?
they got a draw out of
No, 2-1 to Belgium.
2-1 to. Oh yeah, they're on zero. Oh no, Denmark's situation is much worse. They are on 0 points, aren't they?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if
yeah,
if
yeah.
if they win to Russia, they have three. Russia have three, but then Denmark has +1 goal, and then Russia will obviously
Oh
have.
yeah, like they're fighting for two. They won't be getting through on the number three spot most likely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And Finland need a result, winner or draw, to make it through. Then the
yeah.
Russia Denmark game doesn't matter anyway.
Hmm.
Yeah, again, like finally poised. Um,
Yeah, this is differently poised. Like it's not like multiple teams will get 4 points or something like that. It can obviously happen, but
mm,
I think the results will more directly affect the standings here rather than the other group, like rather than the group A that we saw.
yeah,
So
hmm,
yeah,
yeah. But Belgium again should should I say should take care of Finland, make it a perfect 9-on-9, or Finland
yeah.
gonna give them a game.
Well, I don't really. I expect Belgium to swat them away,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I expected that of France also day before.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of the fun part of the tournament, right? Like these teams, like minnows, like we can call them, right? Like
Yeah,
they're doing well, they're fighting, and it's enjoyable to watch. Today should be interesting.
yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah, Group C also plays today. Netherlands are playing North Macedonia. I think they
yeah,
should, yeah, roll them out. Um,
yeah.
it was a
Netherlands need the win because they should get any win they can. Like they have to take any win they can get because I am not expecting much from the Netherlands, as I've told you before. Like
Mhm.
long term, in terms of actually going a long way in this tournament, and let's see. Okay. North Macedonia, they should win that. Like they
Yeah,
don't need that pressure of, oh, we'll play the like they don't. They're not Italy. Like Italy are a much more settled squad and much more of a
yeah.
united squad, unlike the Netherlands.
Mhm.
Like because like Frank de Boer is honestly, his coaching record is poor. Like overall coaching record is genuinely poor.
Yeah, they just
And
couldn't find anyone. That was the entire setup
yeah,
of it.
the market has been weird that way since the pandemic, right? Like Coleman just up and went away. Like
Mhm.
there is a jarring period with the pandemic, with the finances completely dropping off a cliff. Like everything, like there was a seismic shock wave, right? So
Yeah.
the fact that De Boer is actually in this job is thanks to that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And then the final game of this group, Group C, it's again a
hmm,
virtual knockout. Ukraine playing Austria.
yeah,
So the thing is, Austria need to win more than Ukraine. Ukraine can do with a
yeah,
draw. Both have
yeah.
both have like 0 goal difference. So with
Hmm.
0 goal difference, uh, Ukraine will go through. But yeah, Austria need to win, or whoever wins gets through the next
Yeah, well,
stage.
I'm not expecting Austria to win because they were the way they performed against the Netherlands. Like that was a that was shit show, wasn't it? Like what the hell was that? Like and Ukraine are a much better, like much more. Their team knows what they are a lot more than Austria does,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, but it's tournament football. Like it's not a league thing that you expect momentum and you expect things like that to actually work. Like
Hmm.
you just hope for the best. It's more of a roll of the dice. It's much more of a gamble in these kinds of tournaments and these kinds of games.
Yeah,
Like you never know what will happen, and that's kind of what's fun about it, right? That's why most people were very excited about this tournament.
true.
But I
Yeah,
I, I expect Ukraine to get a result, and I expect
yeah.
Ukraine to be the second team in this
In
group.
this group going through. Yeah, but I mean, they also score goals, so that shouldn't be a problem for them. So,
Yeah, and
but
they don't
anyway.
really care about defending them. Like they're like, yeah, we'll score, we'll go and push forward and we'll attack. Like
Hmm.
kind of a bit like Italy, even though Italy are very secure at the back,
Yeah.
like at least statistically. But I mean, this Ukraine team goes for it, and the way it's positive football, and generally you expect positive football to bring positive results,
Hmm.
which is not something you can say for the Austrian team because I have no idea what football they play, to be honest. Like, like what are they supposed to be trying? Like, it's so hard to figure out how they're approaching games, especially when they can't figure out what to do with their best player. We've discussed this before, and
True. Yeah.
it's ridiculous what they try to do, and there's a lot of turmoil in the camp also. Arnautovic has not helped matters.
Hmm.
The players don't seem
He's
in
going to play
sync.
today again. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
He's going to come off the bench anyways. He wasn't starting. He didn't start the first game, did he? So
Hmm. Yeah. Well, on that note, I hope Austria prove us wrong again, and
yeah,
hopefully, for their sake, they can make it through the next round.
yeah,
Four games today. Group B, Belgium is playing Finland, and in a virtual knockout, Denmark is playing Russia, and in the second one, North
yeah.
Macedonia entertaining Netherlands, or the other way around. And the knockout virtual is Austria playing. Who are they playing? Ukraine.
Playing
Ukraine.
Ukraine,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I hope.
Okay, can we one last thing? Like, can we
Yeah,
talk about the Hungary situation? Like, can we talk about the fact that they had a huge marching rally with thousands and thousands of people against the knee and stuff
hmm,
like that, like
yeah.
overtly
Go
racist
on.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like they have been racist before as a country. Like their
Hmm.
refugee stance. I think you might know a bit about it. Like
Yeah.
they were very openly hostile towards races, towards refugees. I mean,
Yeah.
and not just that. Like there was a reporter who basically kicked a kid. There's a video online. Like a kid was basically trying to get into the country or something like that, and this reporter was reporting on it on
Hmm.
some in some field, and she basically kicked a 6 5 6 year old kid who was trying to run. Basically, a
Yeah.
kid scared for his or her life, in panic, and a reporter comes and kicks her. And the government is quite authoritarian, and
Yeah.
there is anti-LGBTQ laws in the country, and
They just passed
then
it
the
again last week.
yeah, yeah,
New ones.
and I mean. we have to talk about the UEFA angle. That's where I was coming up with. Like,
Yeah.
that's where I wanted to go.
I mean, UEFA thought that the Manuel Neuer wearing the captain's armband of the LGBTQ armband
That is
was.
worth investigating. Oh my god! I mean,
Yeah.
what is wrong? Like, okay, we have to
I'm.
clear this up because this relates to the European Super League, and we've talked about the European Super League, right, on this podcast.
Yeah.
So we we're deterring from the topic. This is not morning after the Euros, but I think this is a reasonable time to discuss things like this. Um, I mean, the people who are coming out of the shadows on Twitter and saying, "Oh yeah, you thought UEFA were the good guys," and I mean, maybe European Super League is actually the right idea. They become advocates of the European Super League. This is
Yeah.
what the world is now, right? Like it's either you're with us or you're against us, kind of logic. I mean, are you 12 years old? Are we dividing teams for a football game? Like, what's wrong with you? You can
Yeah.
We knew UEFA was a problem long ago. We knew they're a money grabbing bunch of idiots
Yes.
long before ESL came into play. Just because you fucking didn't know about it doesn't mean we were also in the dark.
Hmm.
Like, they're all money grabbing capitalists. Like, it's a capitalist fucking society. Football is based around capitalism, and They don't give a fuck. And actually, FIFA and UEFA have had previous stances of being like, FIFA is basically the most corrupt organization in the world, even now, even after Blatter's gone, even after 7 years
Yeah.
after Blatter's gone.
Yeah.
And
True.
they love authoritarian governments. These guys love them because they're so easy to handle. Like like the way Trump loved authoritarian governments, because there is a very clear quid pro quo, right?
Hmm.
Like, that's why it's these guys are fucking morons, and these guys are not even fucking morons. They're greedy bastards. Like, UEFA is a bunch of greedy bastards, but that's the thing. Like, we want to reform the system. It's not like we are like, yeah, let's stick to this. But yeah, handing over power instead to a bunch of American owners and Middle Eastern country dictatorships, that's
This is
not
not
the
the way
answer to
forward.
that.
Yeah, that's not the
That's
way
not the
forward.
answer to UEFA. Like, I mean, what kind of justification is that? Like, instead of the logic is, instead of an organization that is corrupt, it's a corrupt organization, we'll give it to an open organization that will openly want its own rules and want power for itself. Like, rather than seek silent power, or second, what do you there's a specific word for it. Like, I can't find it. Like shadow power kind of concept, right? Like, there is when you
Hmm.
play from the back, like bureaucratic power that is there.
Basically, a
Instead of
puppet
that,
show.
you want open power to Florentino Perez and Joel Glazer.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've seen how Joel Glazer operates, at least at Manchester United.
Hmm.
He is not the guy. He is not the good guy here.
Yeah.
Let's just be straightforward with this.
Yeah.
Just wanted to put that out there
Yeah.
to people who want to
I
give me
mean,
your 2 cents on it, no? Like,
yeah, yeah, sure. Firstly, I saw like in 2019, UEFA putting a tweet saying "Game for all, equal game," stuff like that, which they have this
yeah.
campaign going on even during the Champions Leagues. And then they want to investigate the German Football Association, Deutsche Fußballbund, because maybe they thought that, I mean, it's very obvious, but they still need to follow the protocols and stuff like that, thinking that this is a political stance. But I think the case should be dismissed in a couple of seconds when,
Well, you don't have to publicly announce that you're doing it, right? Like,
yeah,
don't be stupid. That was a stupid thing to do. It's not
yeah,
even like, okay, investigate. It's quite obvious that it's like, even if I don't understand this logic also. Like, keep politics out of football. When has politics ever been out of sport? Which sport? Give me one sport in the world in which there is zero politics involved.
yeah. No, but
Like,
the thing that I expect, like, uh, the German Football Association to reply with is it's not political. It's standing up for diversity and equality, and then the case should be dismissed in 2 seconds. Even though there is a political angle to it, once you state that it's diversity and equality, then
yeah.
I think then UEFA cannot do anything about it because they are the ones who came up with this campaign of equal game. And now, if they themselves cannot agree to this, then the entire campaign doesn't make sense that they've been running for the past 3 years.
Then UEFA is one of the most fucking political organizations in the world. Is
Yeah,
racism not
well,
a political stance? Because quite a lot
what a
of people believe
surprise.
racism is not a concept that exists. But
Hmm.
like, me and you can personally vouch for it that yeah, there is the concept obviously exists, and you experience it in your daily life. Like, I mean, it's not like it's not like a backbreaker or anything for me, at least personally.
Hmm.
But I mean, the racism exists in the world. Like, let's not
Yeah,
pretend it doesn't. So,
yeah, yeah,
pretending as if LGBTQ rights aren't being massacred all around us is some sort of and saying that out loud, like as a footballer or a coach, is a political statement. I mean, so stupid that idea is. Like, there is a huge problem that I think is there, because they when you keep talking about it in these circumstances, in these ways, like, you cannot make political statements and stuff like that, you're basically hiding, right? And
yeah.
you're
True.
basically you're it is an active act of exclusion when you say our game is not political. That in itself is a political statement in that regard. Like, when, if for example, if a person of an LGBTQ community hears that we don't want to get involved in politics, and we want to be like, oh, okay, this is a political statement, like the band thing is a political statement, how do you think that person would feel? And you want to be inclusive, but investigating something like that is an active act of exclusion, because you don't want that message to be shown to the viewers because it's a political stance, and
Yeah.
some white 60-year-old man who's screaming at his TV will be offended by a fucking rainbow band. I mean,
Mhm.
that's pathetic. Like, I mean,
Well, let's see how this develops, and we can keep adding bits
yeah,
and pieces.
we extended the podcast a bit too much. I apologize for that,
No
but I
worries.
thought we may as well talk about something. Like, I thought it was important to talk about, and I think
Sometimes,
you're also you also have thoughts on it, so I thought I'll bring it up. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah. Sometimes football doesn't matter in such cases, and
yeah,
we
yeah,
obviously
exactly.
need to raise our voice. On that
Yeah,
heavy note, on that, yeah, a food for thought kind of note. We are saying goodbye for episode number 9. See you guys
yeah,
tomorrow. Thanks for joining.
yeah.